You're listening to the True North Success Podcast. Real stories of personal, professional, and financial wins from Alberta's best. With your hosts, Gary Ma and Amy Kim.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Today my special guest is Olivia Fung. Olivia is a very accomplished architect and entrepreneur that has roots in Edmonton, Alberta, and has worked across the world in Germany. She is the principal and founder of Olita Architecture and has completed some interesting projects at some very high-profile architectural firms, including Dialogue and Knorr. She is also an instructor at Nate Polytechnic School and is a successful real estate investor. It is my pleasure to have Olivia on the show today. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Gary. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're welcome. So Olivia, I gave a quick overview of your success, but can you fill in the details of what your business is all about? Like who you serve, how long you've been doing this for?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I have built my career in Edmonton's design and construction industry as both a designer and a project architect with well-recognized firms across the city. Before establishing Olita, I served as a principal in business development. And in that role, I gained a very deep understanding of client needs in the private sector, market opportunities of the residential and the commercial worlds, and project feasibility during the onset of development. And these are insights that I now shape my design philosophy and approach from the earliest stages. They are very integral to how I bring the project into execution. My work blends strategic foresight with creative vision. I love solving practical challenges through thoughtful, well-coordinated design. And my ultimate goal for every project is to create beautiful, inspiring spaces that foster connection and empower communities together. And and you write that I am a registered architect with the Alberta Association of Architects, and I hold a Master's of Architecture from the University of Manitoba.
Right on, right on. So tell me a little bit more about, your foray into Germany. Like, how did you end up getting over there?
Yeah, that one was like a one-off, but it was also a good risk that I took for myself. So I was still an intern architect, and I really wanted to expand my experience, and I wanted to be more global and not just about local, just not about like having the experience in Edmonton only. So I thought it was good to get some experience internationally. So bring international point of views and perspectives, bring it into our city and how that can help change our city. And I always like to think globally and act locally. So I think Edmonton's a really good experimental ground. And so Germany, I always had an attachment to because I did a studio there during my master's at the U of M. And I love the city, like Berlin specifically. So I was in Berlin. And that specifically was it was a really great city. It was so old. There was so much history. But, there was also kind of a little bit lost. And there was such a great canvas for people to reinvent themselves and constantly rediscover their identity, which is actually what the whole thing was after the Cold War in Berlin, was everyone was trying to figure what the new Germany was, because the history isn't that great. It was a really, really fascinating city. It had a really great arts culture. The museums were fantastic, and their clubs are next level. Like, it's not just another dance club, but they're like cultural institutions. So I gotta say, like, they do a good job.
So you had fun while you were learning.
But you're learning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That sounds really cool. I mean, that's got to set you apart from the competition. I would say.
Yeah. I think the point of view does. I think having that influence really does set me apart. But I think what sets me apart is that I find most traditional architecture firms, they tend to separate design, development, and delivery into different hands. So as a result, there's like rarely true collaboration. And I find that projects sometimes get executed in fragments of the original vision, just because of how it's done. And it's not that it's wrong, but when you have bigger companies, you do need to be efficient. You do need to, you do take on the larger projects. And when you do have large projects, you do go to the big companies. I don't dispute that for sure. But for me, as I'm developing Olita, I wanted to shift the focus to be more of a holistic approach. So one that carries the project from the first idea through to the final detail. And I find that my diverse experience across all facets of the design world, including the business of it, means I understand not just how to design it, but why the project succeeds. So it's about balancing vision, market realities, and client goals from day one. And hopefully at the end, the result is a design that's thoughtful, feasible, and truly collaborative. And it ultimately creates empowerment with the people using the space. And that one is very rewarding as a designer to see.
Well, that sounds really, really cool. Like with lots of things that you're doing, some things must come easier to you versus others. Like, what do you think your biggest challenge that you've had where you've, turned that into a positive type of thing?
Ooh, yeah, I think so. My strength definitely is in visualizing. I can help someone put it into 3D and put it into plan. I think that part is because you learn it in school, like you're just trained that way.
Right.
I think maybe one of the biggest challenges that I had to overcome in my career. So maybe this is more of a bigger picture thing, but I call it like getting out of my own way.
Okay.
So things I didn't know, I have to learn it. Like I think knowledge is power. So the more you know, the better. The more you can leverage and use it to your advantage on a project. So I think, like really getting into, how the city works, like how to get permits through cities, like like all that stuff, understanding the nuances. I think all that is really, really important really, really important, and something I definitely learned outside of school. Like I really, really had to push myself to educate myself on that realm of things, so that was my added value to the
Right.
project. So maybe just to jump back to
Sure.
getting out of my own way, because a lot of that has to do with imposter syndrome. I think a lot of designers, especially, we do think that modesty and humility will get you through the game, but sometimes it just doesn't. And I'm not saying that cruelty and bullying is the answer, but I do think that as designers, we need to tell our story better. I don't think we should diminish self-accomplishments or thinking you are a victim of circumstances,
Right.
because I think that doesn't get you far. And I'm saying this because it's something like my biggest life lesson.
Yeah.
And I think advocating for yourself is something that you have to do. And it's something that even your peers and your colleagues are going to expect from you. So it's like that's the biggest challenge that I've had to overcome, was figuring out how to advocate for myself. Because, yeah, just background, how we were raised. We're not raised to like be boastful or
Right.
confident.
Yeah.
And it's not trying to always talk about yourself, but it's more trying to, yeah, you are your own biggest advocate. No one else is going to do it for you. You have to push. You have to be the one to do or act in face
Yeah.
of opposition, in face of like potential criticism and failure. Like, I think that's the only way you can truly evolve and
Right.
overcome it.
Well,
And
I
yeah,
think, you can see that through the growth of your, your career as an architect. You started down as an intern and went all the way as a principal with Nor. in a quite a short
Yeah.
time period.
Yeah, it's true. It was definitely I think the principal at that company definitely was a really great opportunity for me to advance my career, and that's how I saw it.
Hmm.
And it was difficult, but it was because it was a very tough position.
Yeah.
But at the same time, tons of like lessons learned, right?
Right.
The other big one that I learned too was is that being nice doesn't save you from difficult conversations. And this one was an eye opener. You could be nice and warm in business development, but I think we try to be good and we try to be accommodating people, especially like consultants are service, like we're very service
Right.
driven.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, we're not always working in ideal, perfect relationships or perfect circumstances. So, there's uh there's this nuance between nice and kindness. I think
Yeah.
kindness is really important. I think it's a lot deeper, but nice is a little bit surface. So,
Right.
I still think you can still disagree and still be kind. And I still think you can be honest, but also straightforward and still care about what you're trying to do. So
Right.
that was also a self-growth one. So more self-growth than I'd say like skills right now at this point in my career.
Well, I mean, with that in mind, like, what kind
Yeah.
of tips or suggestions would you give someone that wants to be more successful? You know?
Yeah. Okay. So there's these like five quotes that I've just been really drawn to. So I'm just
Yeah.
going to say what they
Okay.
are.
Yeah.
So number one is your next move matters more than your last mistake.
Mm.
Number
Okay.
two, your normal day is someone's dream. So be thankful every day.
Mm.
Number three
Hmm.
is you have two choices, evolve or repeat. Number
Hmm.
four, privacy is power. What people don't know, they can't ruin. Number five, if you fail, congratulations. Most people don't even try.
That's so true. That's
Right?
so true.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Failure is, I mean, if you learn from failures, it's such a growth point type of thing.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think you can't get through life without failing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm teaching right now, and I have, very, very bright students. But it's all, I think they get very caught up in the mark, like
Yeah.
the final grade of it all versus
Right.
the process,
The learning from it.
the learning from it. Yeah. So they're very afraid to fail.
Yeah.
And not that, I mean, trying to do good, like doing your best is really, really important. I totally agree with that. But there are days where you wake up and you do your best and you still can't connect with a person. You still can't get it through to the client. Like those days happen. It's a real life thing.
Hmm.
So, through gentle pushing, I'm trying to get these students to realize that you like it's okay to fail. It's okay that this mark isn't above a certain grade, and just don't be so hard for yourself and just move on.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, for sure. I mean, in the real world, failure is part of it. I think,
totally.
I would say that, if you're not failing, you're not growing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so important as entrepreneur because, I mean, we don't have, I mean, typically entrepreneurs don't have all the answers, right?
No, 1,000%. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're not, and it's not perfect. Like there's
Yeah.
things that you have gaps that you need someone to help. And I think it's why it is important to find your people like that can help you, support you. You know who to go to for this, you know who to go to for that. And I think like, I'm 3 months into my company. I think looking for that has been really important. And it's always surprising when you go from obviously a company
Yeah.
to being backed by yourself. You'll realize really fast who are your friends and who aren't.
Right.
But it's been, like I said, it's been a really good growth. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I mean, you're getting, lots of success that way. You're going to grow your
Thank
business,
you. Yeah.
right?
Thanks. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I mean, you're also a real estate investor,
One
and
project though.
well, I mean, one
What do you
project
think,
is
Carrie?
still, like
Yeah.
as an investor, you're
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
invested in real estate,
Yeah. That's
right?
true. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts on creating passive income compared to, that could enhance or even replace active income?
I am for it. I
Yeah.
do. Yes. But I think what I look at passive income definitely more as investing in things that help you work smarter and not harder,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that you are paid more for value and not for time. And
Right.
that's where I think passive income, to me, it makes it like, that's the part where they say like, oh, you're making money in your sleep, but it's more of that you're getting more value. You're charging more because your value is way up there.
Right.
So that's how. So you're not. It equates to a. It doesn't equate to the amount of time
Yeah.
that you would have to charge for before. Like, it's not an hour. It's not through an hourly. It's not through an hourly equation.
Yeah.
It's definitely more through like, okay, you're giving me this value, so here's
Right.
the fee, or here's like the cost of it, and you're not getting questioned about the hour. So I
Yeah.
think
Go
that
ahead.
one is tricky though, don't get me wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's part that is about, I think that's where it's like investing in, yeah, you invest in, it's with, whether it's property or whether it's education or whether something to bring the value up,
Yeah.
and then you can get more instead of working harder and spending more time on it.
Right. Right. Yeah. So like as a passive investor,
Yeah.
it could, like you could replace or add to your income. And typically what I've found with other people is that it allows you to buy your time back.
Yeah. Well said. That's exactly what it
Right.
is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like if you had enough passive income,
Hmm.
would you be able to do lots of other things that wanted to do?
A- Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would, yeah, like love to travel, and I love to bring
Right.
my family to travel, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the opportunity I think that's really freeing.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I do. Yeah. I think it's freeing because you're not answering to a salary anymore. Like, you're not
Yeah.
answering to somebody dictating whether or not you can take time off, or you yeah, you can take time off, or you only get paid, or you're capped off at this, at such and such. I mean, it's no shade to be a full-time employee. Like, it's no
Right.
shade to that. It is a very, like, it does take a very different mindset, I have to say, an attitude to people to think about it that way, and not equate it to, exactly, like, equate it to more of a time-based value rate, or whatever you call it. You're not
Right.
getting paid by that. So exactly, I 1,000% agree about buying time, and yeah, but it's just like, not, money doesn't grow on trees. It's one of those things where, yeah, you really have to put it in. Like, you put in a lot of free time, but
Yeah.
you got to be smart. If you put it in the right thing, yeah,
Yeah.
you absolutely like it, and if it absolutely pays off, it's so worth it. And I agree with that it's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
In the next 6 to 12 months, what do you see happening? What kind of exciting plans do you have
Ooh.
in the next 6 to 12 months?
Okay, I find this exciting, but maybe
Yeah.
not everyone does. But I am building design templates and Excel spreadsheets.
Okay. All
So
right.
that's my focus.
Right.
And I want my back of house to be ready to take
Yeah.
on work and to overcome those inefficiencies that I find larger studios have, or
Yeah.
they're currently, I feel like they're suffering from. Like,
Right.
workflow is such, it's always like a topic in studios.
Right.
How can we make it more efficient or whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes they become focused on one person and they're
Right.
not focused on the team. So because that one person has all the knowledge, they have all the knowledge, they have all the expertise, and
Yeah.
you're very reliant on that person. But because you're so reliant on that, say if that person quits or gets really
Yeah.
sick, you're hooped. You know,
Right.
you can't finish the work. So
Yeah.
I think for if I was to set it up and if I was to grow, so first of all, this is where my hard work or free work comes, because I think relooking or streamlining workflow between design and production. So
Yeah.
once everything goes from design, how do you translate it into production? And keeping like the vision and everything in process, in keeping the vision, everything intact, but also reducing human error. So
Yeah.
I feel like now that I have autonomy over that process, I think leveraging AI, that, and very simply, like, it's because AI is not new. AI, like, we have to embrace AI in architecture and design. So something like that, I do think there are really simple tweaks that can be integrated into our current softwares, like our current drawing softwares, that
Yeah.
can save time, it can reduce human error, and then still maintain vision in project work.
So it sounds
Yeah,
like
so that's what
you're going to be
6 to
busy
12 months, yeah.
creating systems for your
Yes.
business,
Yeah. Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that pays back in the end, like
Right.
where I
Right.
get to buy my time back, but it's not
Right.
necessarily I'm charging less because it took me less time to do it. The
Right.
value is still
The
there.
value is there.
I just
Right.
found a faster way to do it,
Right.
and I found a way to get you less, make less mistakes on it.
Right.
So that's what I'm working on.
Well, I mean,
It's
that's fantastic, right?
it's yeah.
I mean,
It's hard.
from your point
Yeah.
of view,
It's
right?
fantastic though. Because I think there's a lot, and there's I think it's just going back to a little bit more, like stripping back a little bit to the basics of it all,
Yeah.
I think you can't put technology on top of technology on top of technology, and I think sometimes that's what bigger firms are doing, because they are a Goliath, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for them to pivot if there's something new that comes. But a smaller firm like myself, I can pivot. Like, if there is something new and fantastic that comes along, I can try to figure out how to integrate it and really quickly see if it works or it doesn't work, right? It's a lot harder with a company of like 800. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Hmm.
Well, that sounds very cool.
Thanks, Gary. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah. Well,
It's definitely a lot of learning. Yeah.
I'd love to learn more in the future, like
Hmm.
maybe on my future projects and stuff like that.
For sure.
And go forward from there. But that pretty much wraps it up for today. Really appreciate your time today, Olivia, to join us on this podcast. If
Yeah.
people want to connect with you, what's the best way to contact you?
Yeah. So definitely look me up on LinkedIn. I'm always quite active. I post regularly.
Okay.
And as well as my website, check it out at Olita Architecture. That's OLIDAARCHITECTURE.com. It's architecture.
Okay.
So I had to write that for naming reasons with the association.
Okay.
So yeah. Like, I couldn't call it anything simpler. But
Okay.
it's also on my LinkedIn, should you want to
Okay.
connect. Yeah, like, I've uploaded there, so no need to scribble it down right at this moment.
Right on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
Really
so much for having me,
appreciate it.
Gary. This is fun.
It was cool. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at truenorthsuccessshow.com/guest. We'd love to hear from you.